as a child, this same person had said things to me that made me feel like shit and made me feel guilty and made me feel all of these things. And so by this person, even though what they said wasn't like detrimental or the worst thing ever, what they said to me brought up all of that. And so now I have the knowledge that it's not just about this situation, it's about all of those situations. And now that I have the knowledge, and it sparked something inside of me to go, oh, well, that's why I reacted so big. And it calmed me down to know I reacted so big. I had the knowledge that I reacted so big, not because of that moment, but because of all of this. And just having that knowledge, because I went all the way deeper,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, it's all right. It's okay. And so, yeah, I think going one step deeper in all of this knowledge that you have, find that moment where you have that, that breath of fresh air where you can move forward and decide, okay, no, I'm not going to take whatever they said. I'm not going to take that personally. I'm just going to keep moving on. Because also in one step deeper, and now I'm hogging, also in one step deeper, you not only have to look at yourself and the knowledge that you have to of yourself, you have to look at the other person. Why did the other person say this to me? What knowledge do they have that's affecting how they're speaking to you? And so that might spark something too. And so I know this person who was speaking to me, the years and years of unprocessed trauma that they carry. And so when they make a comment, I can go, okay, in my knowledge brain, their behavior is this way because of XYZ.
Well, and I'm going to kind of throw a monkey wrench in this conversation, which always makes it fun. So part of our reticence to behavior change, just being predicated on knowledge, is when we were kids and we were in the midst of our trauma, we were told that what we were doing was bad, when it wasn't really bad. It was a projection of what they did maybe when they were a kid, maybe the kinds of like activities that they were involved with. They're now saying, well, that's you. And so you learn not to trust yourself and the knowledge you have. And so therefore, when you have knowledge, you're like, okay, but it's not good enough. I've been told that knowledge is not applicable to you. And so that's a big one, Brittany. If people grew up in a situation, and you and I both did, me a little more aggressively with the verbal, yours was passive aggressive, mine was just full on aggressive at me, saying like blunt statements, but both are very harmful. It makes you kind of go, I know, but do I know? What do I know?
When you have been gaslit for years of your life and told that your experiences and what you hear isn't real and what you're experiencing isn't real, like you said, you begin to question yourself. So honestly, like you said, you can't even make the behavioral change because you doubt the knowledge that you have because someone told you to doubt yourself. And so, wow, that, yeah, you're right. You just threw a big one in there because that, I mean, it's true. And I've been there too, of doubting myself for years because, and I would like search out other people because of what happened to me as a child. And I was made to question anything, any decision, any mindset, anything. I would reach out to somebody older than me. It's not always a bad thing, but I'd be like, how do you feel about this? And it would be just me giving my knowledge and asking them, hey, how do you feel about this? Like searching out what another human being would say about my situation, except it's not really on them, is it? It's on me, and it should be on me. But because, like you said, we were taught to question ourselves for so long, we can't make any changes because we question the knowledge that we do have. That was cool.
Yeah, and then like the behavior changes they wanted you to make, they kind of forced on you. So you kind of have also a rebellion against having change forced onto you because no, I want to be in control because you couldn't be in control. So it can kind of make you stubborn and kind of make you kind of set in your ways a bit. And you and I both experienced that right out of our trauma. I've told you some of the stories in college and being so intellectually great. Socially, I was so stupid. It wasn't even funny. I didn't know how to be anything because I wasn't allowed to be. So when I was all by myself, I kind of sowed my wild oats for a year. I didn't go to church for a year, and I didn't like go out drinking and all that, but I didn't care for a year because behaviorally I was told you had to do these things, and all I saw was negativity from that behavior. Oh, let's go to church. Oh, on the way to church, let's get the shit beat out of you. Okay, that's lovely. Sure, Jesus is proud of that. So the first thing I do when I go off to college, fuck church.
Yeah.
And I let it go for a year. I did come back and got connected and all the things. And so yeah, I mean it's one of those situations where you can't just look at the behavior of someone in the moment and make any judgment call because you don't know what led them to that decision about the behavior they're exhibiting. Is it some knowledge that's predicated on a false premise? That makes them make bad choices. You can't say that person is a bad person if they didn't get good knowledge to begin with.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the word premise because it reminded me in homeschool right now with the girls. I'm literally going through teaching them philosophy. And you may think, why? Because they're 9, 7, and 4. Well, the 4-year-old doesn't really participate, but the other two do. But philosophy and critical thinking and being able to see one premise, a second premise, draw a conclusion, and is it real? Is it fake? This goes into the knowledge of what is coming in, like, and I can't help but go with this. You know, people are so like, we want to lose weight, or we want to do this, or we want to do that. We want to make the change, right? But we have this bombarding amount of knowledge that comes in. And I would dare to say it's really not knowledge, it's just information, but we're just bombarded with this. And humans, at least the humans that I'm around most of the time, don't have the ability to process it and turn information into knowledge because there's so much information. We're so bombarded with, I mean, Jimmy does one type of dieting, and I'm doing something different because of recovery. And it's just like, which one's right? There has to be a right one. And I think that that's wrong. And I think, too, when it comes to knowledge and behavior changes, we have to identify that there's not necessarily a right and a wrong. It's just what's right for you. And then having the critical thinking skills of, like you said, putting yourself in another person's shoes, of not making a judgment, not judging somebody else based off their decisions, and maybe like pausing for a second, like I did with this parent, and go, okay, I know why they did this. Doesn't make it right, but I know why they did this. And if they would just pause for just 10 seconds and give me that same critical thinking skill of, wow, that's my daughter, and I don't agree with her, but I understand. But I'm not given that. And many times in society in general, we butt heads at that place.
What's that like? You're my son. I want to put myself in your shoes to know how you feel. I know you've never gotten it either. So I would flip out if my dad, when I was being abused, ever said, "Tell me how you're feeling, son. Are you okay?" Like that. What? I would have probably passed out, feigning of like, okay, Jesus is coming back. Something's happening because this is like apocalyptic. What's happening? But I want to shift over to, with this topic, behavioral change is more than just knowledge. The marketing people, the advertising people, they know this to the hilt. Because how easy would it be to put on the screen the picture of your product and 1 gram sugar, 5 grams fiber, 250 calories, that kind of, just the basics of just the knowledge of the product. No, they don't do that. Wait, you guys, you're never going to believe. Watch what happens when you have this. You eat this, it burns fat. It makes breakfast for you. I mean, they know the fine art of adding to more than just knowledge to get you to change your behavior. And in this case, the behavior is buy their product. And so why would we think it'd be any different in our lives that we couldn't and wouldn't want to sell ourselves on not just what that knowledge is, but what the knowledge is doing? Let's talk about the ice bath that I'm doing for a moment. I have so many people. I'm getting in an ice bath. Those of you that don't know, 32 degree Fahrenheit 5 minutes a day, every day in the year 2022. And so I get in there and I see all kinds of snarky comments. Oh, I'd never do that. And so their knowledge is cold is painful, painful is not desirable, therefore no thank you. So
Yes.
I'm daily offering them not just an example of someone doing it, but also giving them knowledge and studies and other research, and this is what it's doing for you, da 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 da. And so it's more than just knowledge. I'm also trying to persuade them and saying, hey, look, this is how I feel because of the things that I'm doing. And I've got this happening with my brain health and this in my mood. And oh, my body temperature is doing this. Isn't that cool? And so you do all these things to intrigue people. And it's the knowledge, but then it's like much more. It's like kind of like this marketing campaign for the knowledge that creates that behavioral change. A lot of people ask me, Jimmy, how do you get such good deep sleep? Well, there's a lot of things that I do, but one of the newest things that I recently added is this upgraded magnesium from a company called Upgraded Formulas. Go to their website, upgradedformulas.com, and you can learn all about this nano technology that they use for this particular mineral of magnesium. Again, it's called Upgraded Magnesium, and it's got all the different forms of magnesium in it using the nanotechnology, so it gets absorbed a lot better. Guys, I have seen my deep sleep improve by as much as 30 to 40% simply by adding in this product along with sunshine exposure, darkness in the room, cooler temperature, all of the things that I always have done. So again, upgradedformulas.com is the website. Go check them out.
Yes. Yeah. I do the same thing, in my stories when I'm talking to people about emotional things and feelings and all of that. I give them the other side of it to make it seem appealing. But I always kind of do the, guys, this shit is hard. Okay. This is hard. But I always give the other side of it. Hey, but after you have these realizations, this is what happens. And so I guess I kind of do the same thing. We all really kind of do the same thing. But yeah, you're right. The other side of this is that marketing, that tricky marketing that's out there that tells you that, oh, you must change in order to be XYZ, which I don't agree with.
And some people think it's manipulative when you have that kind of thing. And look, I'm not talking about used car salesmen. They are the most manipulative agents of change, trying to sell you crap. I had that happen to me once, and I was eyes wide open about what was happening. Didn't like what he was doing and did it. I remember he was trying to open the door. Oh, I need some WD-40. I'll be right back. And it's just like, if you can see that it's skeevy, run. And not the behavior change you need. But if you see someone's genuine, you see someone's trying to at least appeal to another side of you besides just your head knowledge, although I do think it has swung a little bit in our culture too much in the other direction where people don't even turn to knowledge. They only turn to feelings and how some message is being, and it's got like tender music in the background. When I was growing up, it was the feed the children in Africa. In the arms of an angel. Yes. Like, they play that song, and every time I hear that song on the radio now, I just like, it's just like, because you think of that marketing, and it's powerful. Yeah. It's a little manipulative.
Well, I wrote this down: stress and other uncomfortable emotions, because, side note, remember, I don't believe in good emotions, bad emotions. You have comfortable ones like happiness, joy, peace, and then you have uncomfortable ones like sadness and guilt and grief. Okay, just want to throw that in there. Stress and other uncomfortable emotions supersede knowledge. And people know that. That's where the manipulative things come in, because you can know something, but when someone puts the plinky plunky music in the background, it becomes manipulative and like appealing to your emotions, and it gets you to change behavior without even acknowledging your knowledge at all, because of all of those manipulations that go along with that. And I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to speak my personal things, but there are some really big organizations, especially in the South, that use this tactic, that they bring you in and they manipulate you with that music and get your feels going and get to everything inside of you just crying out. They manipulate your behavior before you even have a chance to acknowledge what you know.
Oh, I'll go there.